Hello folks, this is Mr. Dan coming to you from the Landscape Design Classroom, and today I'm going to talk to you about learning to use floral design principles. So the main idea here is how can I combine design elements into attractive arrangements? Is it a floral design, which is an orderly arrangement, is not enough. A floral arrangement or design uses principles of design. So this includes overall form, shape, and composition, a planned relationship between flowers, foliage, container, and surroundings. So elements versus principles. Element is something used in a design, while principle is how the elements are selected and put together to create a pleasing impression. So let's take a look at some different elements of the design. So colors, lines, point, shape, or form, size, space, patterns, and texture, while the principles of design include balance, proportion, scale, harmony, unity, focus, rhythm, contrast, and repetition. So how do we use these principles? So let's take a look. We're going to start with balance. This is the sense of being stable with equal weight on all sides of a central axis. Symmetrical, which is formal, is the both. It looks the same on both sides of that line or that middle line. And asymmetrical is different in size and shape, but appearing to be equal weight. So if we take a look at both images here, the top one being more symmetrical, because if you cut a line in the middle of that, it'll look the same on both sides. While on the bottom, you'll notice that there is more vertical movement on the left or on the right side and more horizontal movement on the left side. So ways to increase the visual impression of weight. Some flowers further from the central axis, more flowers higher in the composition, flowers that are more compact, more intense colors, darker versus lighter colors, warmer versus cooler hues. And we'll take a look at those in a moment in a design. So ways to create an impression of balance. More light colored flowers on one side, balanced by fewer dark flowers on the other side. A few compact dark flowers on one side to balance a larger number of open light colored flowers on the other side. So container color match to flower or leaf color. Darker colors low in your arrangement. The tip of the tallest line in your arrangement kept over the base of that line. More compact material low in the arrangement. Focal point located low and near the vertical axis, largest flowers near the focal point, and avoiding mixing symmetrical and asymmetrical features. So if you want a symmetrical or asymmetrical design, just pick one or the other and how you want to do that. Because once you start trying to mix the styles, it typically looks asymmetrical anyway. Let's move on to proportion. A pleasing relationship in size and shape among features in your arrangement. Close attention to height, width, colors, and number of flowers. Arrangement size appropriate for the place where it will be displayed. And some general rules. Arrangement height no more than 1.5 to 2 times the size or the vase height or bowl in diameter. So when you take a look at the image on the right, you'll notice that it has 1 to 3 colors, but that arrangement height isn't going to be too much. It's only going to be 1.5 to 2 times the height of the vase. And that one is about 2 times the width. So when mixing colors, 3 light colored blooms for each dark colored bloom. Types of flowers, no more than 3 types. Stem length vary between short, long, medium. Less than 12 flowers. Make sure you're using an odd number though. This is pretty much a design principle in every industry is if you use odd numbers, you have a midpoint. So whenever you start getting into even numbers, it doesn't look as nice. Moving into scale, this is the size relationship among parts of the arrangement, size of flowers, size of container. Also consider the size and scale of room to arrangement, arrangement to supporting table and nearby items, container to plant material, and sizes of various types of plant material to each other. So if you take a look at the arrangement in the middle of that table, it's large enough that it fills that space, but also gives it room to breathe. And whenever you sit down, you're not hitting into it. So moving into harmony, this is the relationship of one part to another, includes flowers, foliage, container, and background, and includes color harmony. So you can see the similar colors throughout. You see the similar colors throughout and include, my apologies, but you see similar colors throughout and it has an overall theme to it. So it provides harmony into it. Created using easy transitions rather than abrupt change, one color to another, large to small, light to dark. Moving into unity, maybe the most important and most difficult design principle occurs when all elements and principles are applied correctly and all parts as a part of the whole design or arrangement. So if you take a look at the image here on the right, you're going to see a lot of the same color patterns throughout, with the whites leading into other whites on here, greens leading into other greens, and then you have that yellow in here, which adds like a nice accent to all of that, which makes a nice uniting design. So create unity by using one dominant, as in that last image was very white dominant. This one is also very white dominant. So idea expressed with line, form, texture to color, flower or color, area of focal point, a dominant flower standing out among subordinate flowers or foliage. Moving into focus, a center of interest that attracts attention and stops eye movement, created with round flowers, more flowers than around the rest of the arrangement, several lines converging at one point, graduated flower colors from dark to the brightest, greatest contrast, placement of the largest, most beautiful, or most interesting flower. Moving into rhythm, regular or orderly movement, a feeling or impression of movement leads the eye through all three dimensions, which are height, width, and depth, and two types of rhythm, regular repeated or free or variable rhythm from beginning to end. Ways to create rhythm, a progression of spacing to suggest flow or movement. As you can see on the right, you have a nice vertical element and then horizontal elements to the side with that curve. So rhythm through line, shape, and color, movement suggested through curving plant material, movement suggested with a graduation in size, color, and shape, which you can see here on that image in the right. So contrast, the differences between parts, color could include size, color, and shape, helps avoid monotony. And just moving back on that real quick, when we take a look at the contrast, we can see the difference between the two shades of pink, and then definitely between that into the greens in there. So those greens are a nice accent to these two colors coming together, which makes a nice uniform design. Repetition, the repeated use of one or more elements. Examples, repetition of flower colors, lines, shapes, theme, or foliage, and tends to unify an arrangement. So if you take a look at the image down here on the right, you'll see a lot of the same similar, you'll see a lot of similar colors coming in here with the, or with the, not the orange, with the whites, the semi-whites, you have pink flowers in there and you have some fuchsia flowers, and then you have your elements coming out of the top. So overall, this is really nice look at repetition, and not all repetition needs to be symmetrical. A lot of people think that just because something's repeated, it needs to be symmetrical. Absolutely not. So you can have repeating elements that mix in with one another and can even still create a nice repetitive asymmetrical design as well. So that is all I got for you on this one. I know that's a lot of stuff to take in. Creativity is one of the most amazing things you can do in the world, especially in the world of floral design. But if you have any questions at all, feel free to give me a call down here in the landscape design classroom and I can talk to you more. Have a great day, folks. Thanks for listening.